Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Cosmoverse. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow. It's chow time.
Western feminism has ruined us, and I'll tell you why.
Every single girl, in my opinion, if you're dating, you should have a roster.
I clearly signed up for the wrong brand of feminism. I'm gonna start taking some cooking classes because I need to be provided for. Why did I ever think girl bossing was cute?
Straight men need to step up their games.
Feminists believe that promiscuity is a form of empowerment. It's only destroying themselves.
These are my rules for dating. As a 35-year-old woman who has been married twice and is looking for something very specific.
We're in an interesting time where women are expected to do it all.
Being a girl boss is one of the biggest scams out there, and let me tell you...
The realization always comes when it's too late. Men have already lost interest in dating. Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
I want provider man and I'm feminist. You know, I quite often talk that I would like to have man who is more financially responsible in our family, who pays for dates, who pays for rent, etc. Like ideally for my future serious relationship, I see it like that.
Western feminism has ruined us, and I'll tell you why.
I wasted my early 20s thinking that I wanted to be a girl boss, and completely changed my mind. Culturally speaking, like as a Zimbabwean, the man is the provider. There's no split 50-50, like there's none of that. But I really do think that social media and like just trends and what you see online really did push that narrative onto me. Like, I'll be a girl.
I just think it's funny that these women are not willing to go 50-50 anymore. That ship kind of sailed long ago because the economy is not like that. Most people are going to have to work. Most couples are going to have to be at least both working to be able to provide enough money to live a certain lifestyle. But no, they still think that the old traditions is the way to go, which most men agree, but not most women are going to qualify for that anymore.
Girl boss, but I will be perfectly satisfied being a stay-at-home mom, obviously still having my side hustles, but I would love to be a stay-at-home mom, just stay at home with the kids.
This is what happens when the girl boss falls for the brainwashing. They start craving the soft life. These are the women who are told they can compete with men, that they can do everything men can do, and that they don't need anyone to thrive. But when reality sets in, it often becomes clear that the grind of constant independence isn't what they truly wanted. Deep down, most of these modern women still desire a man in their lives, someone they can lean on, and the opportunity to build a family. They've been sold the idea that prioritizing careers and independence will lead to fulfillment, but for many, it only leads to burnout and loneliness.
For men, it does. For men, they can't find fulfillment in their careers and in their jobs. Women just don't seem to be like that.
The so-called empowerment turns into a trap, leaving them stuck in a cycle where they're expected to carry all the weight, with no one to share it with.
Feminism is literally the destruction of our society. Society really cheated women in convincing them that they are like, it is their world. If you are asking a woman to close herself in the sense that, no, I could do it on my own. I'm going to be independent. I don't need no man. Like all of this kind of, what that does is it shields away a woman from being her true divine self.
Say this with my chest. There are far more women struggling to find love in relationships than men. Yes, I agree, bad men exist, but these men are created, not born. And I'll tell you what's causing this. Toxic feminism. What feminism does is simultaneously teach women to detest masculine traits in men, but cultivate them in themselves. So for instance, a man that cheats is trash, but a woman who cheats is a bad bitch. Or a man that sexualizes women is misogynistic, but a woman should sell her nudes online and she's a bad bitch. But the biggest problem with feminism is that it makes women reject their feminine traits. So they no longer want to be loyal or nurturing. As a result, we're breeding a
We've noticed this. Most women do not embody the feminine traits of our mothers and our grandmothers.
Generation of men who no longer aspire to provide, protect, and most importantly, respect women because they can access them and replace them. So yes, men are struggling to find love, but it might be because this generation of women is not what they want.
The women arguing in the comments are exactly the ones we don't want. Lady is speaking nothing but facts. This generation of women is not what men want indeed. But guess just how much hate this woman received for speaking her mind. The irony is undeniable. These women are proving her point. Feminism today has shifted from advocating for equality to toxic feminism, where hating men, competing with men and pushing unrealistic narratives have become the norm. Instead of building meaningful partnerships, many modern women are caught up in a race to outdo men, which only widens the divide between genders. What's even worse is the false empowerment that comes from sexualizing themselves on the internet for attention. They've been led to believe that exploiting their own bodies somehow equates to liberation and strength. Yet it often leaves them feeling emptier in the long run. Men don't respect it. And deep down, many of these women don't respect themselves for it either. It's a cycle that promises power, but delivers fleeting validation at best.
Women of God, can I tell you the hard truth? Feminism in today's culture, in today's society, is not of God and it's not God's heart. The central message of the feminist movement is men are weak and cannot, so women are strong and they can. And I hate to be the first one to tell you this, but honey, you can't be a man. You weren't made to be a man. Heck yeah, you're strong. But guess what? A man has a God-given biblical role and so do you. So y'all, we have to repent of our hatred for men.
Women's History Month is coming to an end, and I just wanted to let y'all know that...
Jesus, lady. That's a lot of stuff coming out of your nose.
I am not a feminist for many reasons. One being, I do not wish to be treated as a man's equal. I am not equal to a man. Instead, I would prefer to be treated much better than a man, like the goddess that I actually am.
It makes sense. We used to treat women better than men because that's how it was. But when you wanted equality...
Look, you're not dating the guys that you want because you've been brainwashed. And I wasn't dating the guys that I wanted in university because I was brainwashed. We've been taught and programmed to hate our biology and ignore the basic instincts that we have based on said biology. Instead, we should climb the corporate ladder, empower ourselves by sleeping around, and hate all men.
Yep.
I thought it was liberating to reject my womanhood and compete with men, show them how much more alpha I was. But this was not attractive to the right men because deep down, under all of this, I wanted to become a mother and a wife. But in university, the brainwashing was just so real that I genuinely wanted to compete with all men, show them how much more manly I was, and be cool because it's cool to hate men. So I said that. I decided to strip away all the mainstream conditioning and go back to my feminine roots, and guess what happened? Men that are able to lead, protect, and remove all burdens off my shoulders to make my life easy started popping up. Real men.
Hookup culture is one of those movements masked...
I'm not a big fan of the real men thing, but yes, the more feminine you are, the more you're going to attract the more masculine men that are looking for that femininity.
...in feminism that has deeply damaged modern women. It's sold as empowerment, convincing them that being sexually liberated through casual flings and multiple partners is somehow a progressive choice. But the reality is far from what's advertised. When women engage in such activities, they might think they're embracing freedom, but in truth, they're often hurting themselves emotionally, mentally, and even physically, all while stacking up body counts that carry long-term consequences. By the time the impact of these choices becomes clear, it's often too late. Many of these women are left grappling with regret, wondering if their pursuit of freedom was worth the emotional and relational sacrifices. Instead of being
and the damage
celebrated, they're left picking up the pieces of a lifestyle that ultimately left them with nothing of substance. The feminism that promotes hookup culture has done nothing but create more confusion and pain, leaving these women isolated and longing for the genuine connections they've been told to dismiss.
Don't get me wrong, I am happily single, strong, independent woman, don't need no man, but here I am trying to change my shower head. I can't figure out how to get it off. I've been trying honestly for days and the wrench isn't wrenching. My tiny little lady brain can't figure it out. I want to use one of these cool Jolie nice ones. I just need a man to help me do this.
These are my rules for dating as a 35-year-old woman who has been married twice and is looking for something very specific. Number 1, 6 dates before intimacy. Right out the gate, I'm going to tell the guy, I'm going to be super honest and transparent about it because I don't want him to keep on trying to come on to me and feel rejected. And I also want him to know, like, this is going to be a long-term investment. If he's not down for the long haul, then see you later. Number 2, if and when we do hook up, we always sleep in the same bed. Every time. I need to be spooned and kissed like right here, way more than I need a wham bam thank you ma'am moment. My house is not a restaurant nor a hotel. For some reason, once you start hooking up with guys, they start to think, oh, I don't need to take her out on dates anymore. We can just do movie nights every single weekend. No. If you want to see me, make a plan. When we enter into a dating scene, you have 2 months until both of us can collectively decide.
It's just so funny, like, where were these standards before the marriages and when you were young? Why did they all come now when you're 35, hit the wall, and nobody really wants to, like, deal with these things?
We're either going to wind up pursuing something more intentional and serious or just be friends. I don't have 6 months to a year to be trapped in a situationship getting my feelings hurt. The fastest way to get rid of me is by going days without speaking to me. If you can't send a simple good morning text, if you can't check in with me and say sweet dreams, if I don't know when the next time I'm going to see you is and already a few days have passed, if it's between me and another girl, do us all a favor and choose her, because I will not be competing for a grown man's attention.
It's great to have rules for dating. Standards and boundaries are essential. But being 35 and divorced twice is undoubtedly a glaring red flag when it comes to this woman. It raises serious questions about her ability to maintain long-term relationships and whether she's taken accountability for the role she might have played in those failed marriages. While everyone deserves a chance to grow and learn from their mistakes, 2 divorces by 35 suggest a pattern of poor decision-making or an unwillingness to work through challenges. This situation also makes you wonder if she's the type of person who jumps into relationships too quickly without truly understanding what she wants. It could reflect unrealistic expectations, an inability to compromise, or a tendency to blame others rather than address her own shortcomings.
Every single girl, in my opinion, if you're dating, you should have a roster.
Oh.
So the theory is that you should have like a stadium, right? And you should have like a few people on the pitch, like key players. That's up to you, what your capacity is, like whether you want to work with a big one or a little one.
I told you!
But then you can't obviously be spending all your time with your mains because then they'll get too keen, you'll get too keen, it's that messy. And you have your subs. And then you'll have like floor seat ticket holders.
You need help.
They're single mothers because women are irresponsible.
Like in terms of, what do you mean, like irresponsible?
Sexually. You're in control of who you have sex with.
You are. So if you've chosen to have sex with a man that isn't someone that would actively support you, that makes you what exactly?
Irresponsible.
Irresponsible for making a choice.
Yeah, because you have 10 choices, the men have 1. As women, we have so much more choice than the men. So like we can do abstinence if we want. Like we all could have waited till we were married. We also have the choice to require the men that we sleep with wear condoms. We also have the choice to get on birth control. You can get an IUD, you can get a pill, that thing in your arm. We also can be wise with who we sleep with and not sleep with anyone that wouldn't be not a good father. We also have the choice to put a man on child support. We also have the choice to get married and leave and then take half. We also get more child support if we take away the kids from the dad. We have all of this choice and the men have condom or no condom.
Those are undeniable facts.
True.
Women are absolutely in control
And then they always seem to choose the killing of their babies.
Who they sleep with. They have the power to choose their partners, set boundaries, and decide under what circumstances intimacy occurs. So if they end up as single mothers in the long run, it's ultimately a result of their decisions and the type of men they choose to engage with. No one can deny that women bear a greater responsibility when it comes to reproduction, as they have the final say when it comes to consenting to intimacy, using birth control, or deciding whether to bring a child into the world. This is why the argument of "it just happened" doesn't hold up.
Nope.
It's a matter of choices, choosing partners who may not be reliable, responsible, or interested in building a family. Modern society often frames single motherhood as a badge of strength, but what's left unsaid is the impact these choices have on the women themselves and their children.
Feminism is a scam.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Feminism tells women they live in a patriarchal society that is oppressing them.
Ooh, me likey the oppressive totalitarianism.
And that men are the privileged perpetrators.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Women have been able to vote for almost 100 years.
It's been 84 years.
So what are feminists actually fighting for?
We're trying to make a point.
If feminism is about equality, can you name one men's issue that feminism addresses?
What's the answer, Matthew?
Feminism is an organization that radicalizes women against men by telling them women are paid less.
You owe me like $1.
And when you take into account the median average across all jobs and industry, men work longer hours.
We're working.
Men are more likely to ask for raises.
Deal.
Men take less time off.
The bears can smell the menstruation.
Men work more dangerous, higher paying jobs.
I'm really rich.
And men retire at a later age.
It's my money!
If it was cheaper to hire women, why would anyone hire men?
They took our job!
What feminists are saying is a woman's time is more valuable.
I don't know how much time I have left.
So she should be paid the same even though she doesn't work as many hours.
How dare you!
Not very equal, is it?
You're ridiculous, and men's rights is nothing.
Really? In sports? Last I checked, a bunch of middle school boys defeated Megan Rapinoe in soccer, a sport that many people say she dominates. But that's only when she's against a bunch of girls, I suppose. What exactly did we do to be better than men? Are you aware of how you got here? Are you aware of who invented the iPhone that you're recording this incredibly sexist TikTok on?
Yep.
You see, that's not the girl power move everybody thinks it is. Women are better than men. Why? Breeding competition where it's simply not necessary demonstrates incredible immaturity. And as a woman, I'm embarrassed. Look me in the eyes with a straight face and tell me why you would not tear apart a man if he said this. I'll wait. It's all fun and games until somebody reverses it. Then he has to be cancelled. But guess what? He most likely gained thousands of followers from this post. Because women right now garner a very unfair advantage in our society. And whether you'd like to admit it or not, it's there. Not in all cases, but definitely in this case. Please do us all a favor and keep your hatred of men to yourself. Sincerely, Lauren.
I agree. And they say feminism is about equality. But in reality, we have a lot of women out here who genuinely believe they're better than men in all areas.
Which is just crazy to me. Just living your life and just observing everything around you, you will quickly realize that is not the case. And again, children can see these observatory things that men tend to be stronger and all these other things that they can easily see. But then you lose all of this knowledge when you hit college, or college indoctrinated you so much that you lost your common knowledge that you were able to observe when you were younger.
And some of them even outright hate men. This modern form of feminism has taken a toxic turn, straying far from its original intent of advocating for fairness and mutual respect. Instead, it has fostered an environment where some women feel justified in vilifying men, dismissing their contributions, and perpetuating the belief that men are inherently inferior. This isn't equality. It's superiority cloaked in the language of empowerment.
Yep.
Instead of focusing on collaboration and building bridges between genders, this version of feminism often pits women against men, framing them as adversaries rather than allies. It fuels division, creating an us versus them mentality where women feel validated in their hostility toward men under the guise of seeking justice or independence. Some of these women embrace misandry, openly expressing disdain for men while claiming to stand for equality. They disregard the struggles, sacrifices, and responsibilities men face,
Damn right.
ignoring that true progress comes from understanding and working together. How can equality exist in an environment where one side harbors animosity toward the other?
The reason why men hate this new generation of women so much is because we're finally starting to realize how powerful.
Men are not intimidated by powerful women.
Nope.
They really aren't. I'll tell you what I see in this new generation of women. Very little self-respect. I'm 34 years old and I have never seen the level of hoery going on in this world.
True.
Most of these women can't cook. They're foolish women. They don't know how to build their household.
Nope.
Instead, they destroy it with their own hands. We got women emasculating men left to right, saying it's a problem for them to be a man.
I agree. Men aren't intimidated by strong women at all. If anything, these modern women just aren't the quality partners that high-value men are looking for. It's not their strength or independence that's the issue. It's their behavior, demeanor, and character that often turn men off. These traits, like arrogance, entitlement, and a lack of femininity, are simply not attractive to the kind of men they claim to want. Modern women,
I mean, it's just not attractive to most men.
Women often confuse being loud, combative, or overly self-centered with being strong, but these are behaviors that repel men rather than draw them in. The real problem is that they're confusing men's lack of interest with intimidation, when in reality, it's repulsion.
All I see feminism really does is just pit women against men. There's very few things that women espouse that isn't a detriment to men when it comes to feminism. Again, guys, I got Chow Time 2.0. The description is down below. It's probably the first thing there. It's a link to the channel. Please come and sub. I got some new content coming out. It's going to be once a week on December. And, you know, it's going to be different types of content. A little bit more in-depth talks. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.